Hi, this is Hank reporting from Kyiv, and this is my update on Russian-Ukrainian war. Let's see what happened around Ukraine in the last 24 hours. What Ukraine has lost. A year after the disaster. How to catch the FPV. How the prisoners of war look like. Another $50 billion credit. What Ukraine has lost. With this headline, a huge article was published in the New York Times, in which 4 authors described the scale of destruction in Ukraine that Russia brought with the outbreak of a full-scale invasion. In this picture you can see the geography of the places most affected by Russian bombings. According to satellite observations, more than 200,000 buildings are currently damaged or destroyed. Perhaps this figure is even higher because we do not yet know the statistics from Mariupol, for example. It was a city of 450,000 people, and approximately 90% of the buildings were heavily damaged or destroyed. Just search the Mariupol photos and you will immediately see the scale of the destruction. You don't even need an explanation. In this picture you can see visual statistics of the destruction of hospitals, churches and schools. Those buildings that are not ranked as military objects according to all the possible rules of war, the UN statute and the Geneva Convention. Russia destroyed or damaged 106 hospitals, and as you can see, Mariupol is marked separately. 109 churches, and again, Mariupol occupies almost a quarter of the total. We understand that no one will use the church for troops to hold defense there. This is at least an inconvenient position, too noticeable. 708 schools and educational institutions. You may have heard the story from 2022 when the first wave of Russian terrorists occupied a school at the outskirts of Kharkiv, which was then dismantled by our artillery. Please do not write comments, everything is not clear here. Everything is clear. When any soldiers with weapons enter a school in a foreign country, this has no justification and there is no honor in it. 2 days ago I inserted a video of my school being burned down by Russian aero bomb and the Russian tanks shooting towards my house in the background of this video. Tell me how this can be justified. If I shut my eyes, I can see everything from my old life. I can see the front gate, I can walk through a front door. I can step into a beautiful kitchen and look into the cupboards. But if I open my eyes, it's all gone, says Irina Hrushkovska from Marinka. I inserted this fragment of the story of a woman who lost her home in Marinka because I can say the same thing word for word. This is probably a common feature for all people who were left without a home because of this war. I still have the smell of my home in my memory. Every person recognizes the smell of their home. It is special. I can close my eyes and walk through my rooms by touch because I've walked there thousands of times. I can complete the route in my head and walk throughout the city, even imagine the sounds. But I also understand that all this simply doesn't exist in reality. It's like I've already gone crazy and live in a fantasy world. Anyone who has not been in such situation will not understand how it feels like. I'll leave this photo of my kitchen here. I have exactly the same feelings for this place. It was always sunny here at sunrise. I will leave a link to the post and story associated with this place under the video. Read it if you're interested, but I won't promise it will be fun. I want to share a large article from UA Animals, online media about human attitude to animals and nature as a whole, which tells about the terrible tragedy in the Kherson region when a year ago Russians blew up a dam that flooded the entire region. I learned about this terrible news from my American friend as soon as I opened my eyes in the morning. He sent me a video of how the waves washed away everything and I didn't immediately understand what happened. It was a disaster and all of Ukraine collected humanitarian aid. My friends equipped a group of cars and drove 1,000 kilometers to save people and animals, many of whom drowned unfortunately. I think I shook all the money out of all of my friends so that we could buy what we needed, the boats and fishing suits for volunteers. The representatives of the Postal Service contacted me and asked if I could help to distribute 250,000 tons of unsorted humanitarian aid that was sent from all over the country. People sent heaters, batteries, clothes, food, medicines, and there simply weren't enough hands to sort it all. It was a disaster, but at the same time it was beautiful how people helped strangers whom they would have never even met. Journalist Nadia Pendur writes this: on the anniversary of the Kakhovka catastrophe, as part of the Stop Ecocide Ukraine project, We will hear first-hand accounts from eyewitnesses and immerse ourselves in their memories. Their testimonials reveal that ecocide is not an abstraction but a tangible reality, one that signifies the deliberate destruction of a specific area and the lives of people and animals who once thrived there. Russia must be held accountable. The article contains a chronology of events for the first 4 days after the breakthrough, 2 weeks later, and after the water subsided. There are also many photographs of brave volunteers rescuing animals that were trapped in closed houses or on a leash. It breaks your heart, but again makes you admire people with such big hearts. The article is written in English and Ukrainian so that you can easily understand the essence. By the way, this week, the Ukrainian government decided to adopt English as one of the official business languages in the country and decided that some employees will be required to learn English upon joining the service. This will be another step towards integration with the European Union so that we can all speak the same language. Good news in my opinion. In this picture you can see how the FPV drone signal stands out while scanning the radio broadcast on the battlefield. Their signal is in the range of 720 to 1020 MHz. They say that our specialists can distinguish Russian drones from ours, but they don't disclose this information. I know too little about this area, so I won't provide unchecked information. Let's wait for the details. But this can be said. In the photo you see a new model of Ukrainian gadget called Cukorok, or piece of sugar in translation. This small device will save lives on the battlefield. There are now a huge number of drones and sometimes you simply don't notice them due to their speed. The Cukorok signals when a drone is approaching you and ideally you should have time to cover. I held the previous model in my hands, but they say that the new model will be even better. You cannot buy freely, you need to contact the developers directly and pass the verification. It's clear that no one wants the enemy to get your technology. On May 31, the prisoner exchange that I talk about took place and we began to receive the first data from the people who spent 2 years in Russian captivity. In this photo you see Roman Gorylik that guarded the checkpoint at the nuclear power plant in Chernobyl. Yes, the same one about which HBO made their famous series. Roman is not a combatant. He and 168 other employees were captured by Russians in early 2022 when they tried to capture Kyiv from the north. 89 people from this list are still in Russian prisons. Just look at these photos. I'm very sorry for this man and everyone who was captured. It looks like the prisoners of Nazi concentration camps look like. Just try to find the differences. During their entire stay in captivity, Roman and other Ukrainian prisoners of war were never visited by observers of the International Committee of the Red Cross. Not allowing observers to see prisoners of war in violation of the provisions of Geneva Conventions is a conscious and purposeful policy of Russian government to genocide the Ukrainian people. Let some defender of Putin's power come now and say that Roman tortured himself half to death. Please help us get through this horror. No people anywhere in the world should have suffered like this. I wish Roman and the others return from prison a full recovery of health and hope that we can return everyone who is in captivity. Personally, I have 4 people who are missing or captured and these are only those who I know about. Financial Times wrote an interesting article on a topic that is literally on the desk of the US government and the heads of European Union. How can you use frozen Russian funds to help Ukraine? For me as a citizen of Ukraine, several things are important here. First, discussions are ongoing and politicians are looking for a solution. And second, all conspiracy theories have no basis. The fact that the leaders of the countries allegedly conspired to continue the war, look how they cannot agree on anything for 2 years. Is it still possible for Ukraine to defend itself at full strength? Estonia, definitely yes. USA, probably not. Germany, perhaps. etc. It is so strange to see that countries that are many times stronger than Russia in all technical and economical indicators are so far behind Russia in terms of determination, and Putin feels it. The dictator does not doubt his choice. He wants to kill Ukrainians and take our lands and then scare Europe with missiles from the Ukrainian territories. Europe doubts how much they are prepared to defend themselves. Remember your bully at school. If you hit him back, he won't touch you anymore. Okay, let's get $50 billion on credit. Buy weapons from you for which you will receive money and then deduct it from the aggressor's account. I think this is fair. Link to the article under this video. This was my short marathon with news about the Russian-Ukrainian war for day number 833, and I'm in a hurry to film and edit this video while I have electricity. Thanks to everyone who is watching. As always, let me know what can be improved. Take care and see you tomorrow.